Ah, there she is.
Hey,
Hello there.
how you been?
Hey, been wonderful. Been well, been swell. Been well, been swell.
Amazing.
How have you been, my friend?
So good. I'm going to art school right now.
Okay, so you in art school.
Yeah, yeah. I'm at Cal Arts. This is my dorm.
Awesome. Cal Arts. Wait, where exactly is Cal Arts?
That's in Valencia. I didn't know where it was until I got here, to be honest, but there's really not much to do around here.
Okay, okay. Well, it sounds like you finding your way, you know?
Exploring,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
exploring. We've been
Mm.
touring. We met each other in the most interesting of circumstances. And since then, you've been in Colombia, right? You were in Colombia taking a trip.
Yeah, it
How,
was magical. It was
how was
so
that, Connie?
beautiful. I went with my sister for the whole trip,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was just us in a whole different country. It was really weird being Asian there, to be honest.
What do you
We're
mean?
getting followed around. We were just the only two, but we did this yoga retreat in Bahia Solano,
Mhm.
and there was this yoga instructor, and we just connected so deeply. And when
Mhm.
we left, we were all just crying
Mhm.
and crying. But it was like 3 times we would meditate every
Mhm.
day and do yoga, and it was just such a intensive practice that I've never been in. And the rainforest sounds were also so calming, vibrational.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. Wow. Connie, what do you mean when you say that you were followed? What do you mean that?
Oh, they're just, those strange spirits just lurking around, following us,
Spirits?
catcalling people, but the strange spirits
Okay.
that were just,
So, mhm.
yeah, they're just following us around, and things were getting a little scary sometimes, but it was okay. We were protected. We were safe.
What do you feel was the reason?
Hmm. I guess it was just we looked like we didn't belong there. We looked like we didn't know what was happening around or the culture. So, people can sense that sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so just the look of unfamiliar territory. Like you look like you're saying they thought that you didn't belong there, so they wanted to see what you were doing.
Yeah. And sometimes it could have been for, a malicious intent, but I wouldn't know.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
okay. But overall,
Mhm.
your Colombia experience, you would say that it was pleasant overall?
It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my life.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What what do you feel like you brought back with you? Something that you didn't have when you left.
Mm. It was just this opening of sensation to the world, seeing how much more there is out there, seeing, how different my own life could be. Because now I'm like, I really want to move there someday and create a different reality for myself.
Oh man. Well,
Hmm.
how different would it be from your current reality?
Definitely social wise, it'd be, completely different sphere that I'd be wandering, exploring in.
Mhm.
Um, I would wonder who would go with me, or if I would be alone, or what I would do. I think it would be a lot more, hmm, like I would be connected to the environment more, I think,
Okay.
especially in like forest, rainforest areas. There's just such a magic to the place.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So when it
Yeah.
comes to that environmental connection, would you say you don't feel as much of that connection in California?
I think for me, it's just like I have a lot of plans going on, like a lot of tasks I have to get done, and there's this disconnect. Sometimes I would have to make time to go out and explore versus if I was, already just living in it, because I just don't live in nature areas. I haven't, but that's something I could also change here.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Yeah,
did you first feel drawn to nature and like natural environments? Has that been that way since you were a child?
not at all,
No?
to be honest. I think it was maybe a couple years ago actually, when I feel like things open up for me, and I started enjoying sunsets. Are my favorite thing. I try to see them every single day. Um, but yeah, before I didn't care. I used to live next to the beach. I never went as a kid. It wasn't until you don't have it that you really enjoy it and you
Mm.
appreciate it sometimes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. So
Mhm.
it's like they say, we don't miss the water until the well runs dry. It's like you don't miss
Mhm.
what you don't have until you don't have it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how it was for me.
for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. So when you said you went on this retreat or this place in Colombia and you had one of the best times in your life that you can recall, you know, at the core of it all, it was yoga and meditation. Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then they also just had such a close connection. It was such a deep connection that formed between this couple who was taking care of us, and it was me and my sister, and then it just felt like we were a family. And they cooked every single meal that was farmed. They grew all of their food in
Mm,
this tiny little area in Colombia that we had to take, I think, 3 planes to get to, because they really try to keep travelers from getting in there.
mhm.
So yeah, it was just it's like you entered this little bubble in this whole new world.
Yeah. Wow.
Love,
And
yeah.
even those little things, Connie, the little things like, them cooking all of their food, how did that give you more gratitude? How did that change your attitude?
Mm-hmm. You could definitely feel the love in the food. You could feel how much work every single thing took to grow. And there was still that language barrier too between us. So, I could communicate my needs and wants to, like, maybe the level of like a fifth grader. So it wasn't the best. But yeah, you could sense, you can feel, we could communicate without speaking, I think, is what I realized. And it was really beautiful to have that deep exchange, but without needing to use a verbal language.
Wow. Wow. So like an energy exchange, like telepathy.
Hmm. Yeah. And I just remember this moment where I was staring into to the host's name was Diana, her eyes, and it just felt like we really saw each other. We were just staring at each other, and she just started crying, and then I started crying, and then my sister was watching us. And it was just a really powerful moment. She said something about how, the people who go through the hardest things are the healers of the world, because you have to heal yourself before you can heal other people.
Mm, wow.
Hmm.
That's a message. That's a message. Can you say that one more time?
So the people who become the healers in this world go through the hardest things because they have to learn how to heal themselves before they can heal other people.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. How did that speak to you when you heard that?
I think it gave me a lot of, I don't want to use the word validation, but like reassurance in what my experiences were and, you know, what we are all experiencing, how every single thing that could be a challenge could be, you know, essentially, you know, you see as ruining your life right now could actually be helping you. And that's actually something I kind of, yeah, noticed with my whole spiritual journey is I got there because of, you know, these really, really difficult challenges that started everything that now I'm grateful for that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What would you say was one of the toughest challenges, or one of the challenges that you're grateful to have overcome to get to where you've gotten at this moment?
So what really jump started my whole journey was actually having this autoimmune disorder disease that I found out about in 2017. And that was when I first started college. I moved away from home for the first time. Um, yeah, support wasn't really around, and I was going to the, you know, healthcare doctors, and I realized that was not it. That just was not helping me. It actually made things so much worse because, like, the just finding out the truth about the healthcare system. But then turning to the inner world, turning to this hope and changing my mindset about everything is what I felt like got myself through physically and mentally. And that's when I first started going to the temple. But I don't think everything resonates with me all the time in, you know, scripture or doctrinated religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said it was an autoimmune disease. What was it called?
It was, there's like many different names for it. I'm still not sure what it is. Um, maybe one of them was called fibromyalgia. Another
Fibromyalgia.
one, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a couple other ones, but it's all just, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not for sure.
Okay. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
going through those trials and that during that challenging time, for anyone who is unfamiliar, you know, with autoimmune disease and things of that nature, how would you describe it?
It was basically like my cells were attacking themselves, like my body was eating itself.
Wow.
And, you know, organs were kind of failing, skin was falling apart. But yeah, the hardest part, I think, was really the mental part of it all. Just realizing, you know, how do I keep going? How do I have hope when my own body is attacking myself? You know, so I had to realize how to fight myself, but also how to, you know, love myself at the same time.
Yes.
And I think the most impactful part of it all was just realizing how many people were actually there for me that I just met in this new place, and how much people really cared when there wasn't even that history or fam a familial connection or anything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it revealed so much to me.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this. You know, thank
Mm-hmm.
you for your vulnerability, like just sharing your story and
Yes.
your testimony, going through this, because you said, Connie, it wasn't even really the physical that was the most challenging. It was actually the mental. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah. Just getting through every single day was such a mental journey. I think physically I could ignore things, but then, you know, mentally it was a whole different struggle when it
Mm-hmm.
is like yourself and it's not something else external causing it for you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So,
How were you able to face it?
um, so the first thing I did was try to seek help that was outside of the healthcare system, and that became, searching for those self-help videos. Even I went to the temple, um, searching for holistic ways of treating myself. I didn't know that eating, exercising, sleeping, meditating, breathing, all those things can transmute so much negative health conditions or problems or bad energy. So that's something that, yeah, I really had to learn how to grasp to help myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hmm
Wow. How many years ago was this? Like around that
This
time, about how old were you?
I was 17,
Yeah.
um, 2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was around the time when you started finding different modalities and forms of nourishment, like you said, breath work, meditation, just different forms of, you know, raising your vibration.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah. There were those frequency videos
Mm.
or sounds that I listened to, and I think I put so much belief in it that it became this magical thing for me where, I would go to sleep feeling awful, but then I would play it throughout the night and I wake up and notice, there is actually such a big shift in my body, and it's about the energy of how I'm perceiving everything. And if I think that I'm not getting better, I won't, But
Mm.
I really believe that I was getting better every single day with everything. And slowly it did take a long time, but yeah, slowly it's healing itself. It's still healing, still growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. And what's been a form of evidence that you've gotten to allow you to see that shift in energy working, you know, for other
Hmm.
people, for where people, when seeing is believing for a lot of people.
Hmm. Well, I don't know if this is still seen, but if if people like, a science-based evidence response, there still is there I saw this thing on the gamma frequency and
Mm.
how, that's the love and compassion and gratitude, whatever that is, that really, really uplifts the entire consciousness as a whole. And I realized when, I tapped into understanding what compassion meant for myself, what love meant for myself, all these things started pouring into my life. And it was like all these opportunities, um, just believing in yourself. And yeah, these opportunities started pouring in.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
magical that
Yeah,
is.
I'm still thinking, but
Hmm. Yeah. You know, I can see how magical it is to be able to see the makeup of your world, changing due to what's changing on the inside, how you can see the changes and shifts in your outer reality. Like, for example, Disclosure Fest. Was that
Yeah,
what opportunities that you feel fell in your lap?
yeah. Maybe not even opportunities, but just people and energies that are so beautiful and free and liberated, expressing themselves, and it was such a beautiful time, like
Hmm.
meeting you as well.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
Michael Helix, Mary, he took
Yeah.
us on that ride with the dog. You remember the little
Yes.
dog?
Right, the dog. Hmm.
We were on a ride like all around the festival.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
never have planned it, you know?
No.
Yeah.
We all came on our own, I think, separately, and then got into that vehicle. And we're just going around. I guess that's a pretty good metaphor for life too. You're all in different areas of the world. You come together and you start going on a journey, but then you leave, pick up other people, keep
Yeah. Yeah.
going. Hmm.
Just enjoying the ride, along
Hmm.
the way, along the way. And people were
Yeah,
waving. People saw us inside as he was riding the bike, and taking us around the festival, and it was like everybody was caught up in that energy.
yeah,
It was powerful.
yeah. Everyone was like, "Hey!" We're all like waving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good time. There was another one recently
Okay.
on 11/11, but it was inside a church.
Okay.
Mhm. There were some people that I saw from the festival that were there, and then I had the same exact interaction with this individual as I did last time, but we both didn't remember each
Mm.
other until we hugged. It was
Mm. Whoa. So wait, the
such a
connection
weird
there
experience.
when the physical touch came.
Mhm.
That was when you.
Yeah, it was this, yeah, person named Love Heart or Love Dragon, either one, I think. And we we had this really, really long embrace at the festival, and I've never felt a hug like that before. It was
Mm.
just like touching a ball of energy that was like just exploding everywhere in a great way.
Mhm.
But then I experienced it again, and like, oh, I remember this, but face, person, name, I had no recollection of, and it was both ways. But yeah, I guess that also goes into like one of my friends would say, people don't remember these facts, but they don't remember these thoughts, these words, what you say necessarily, but they remember how you made them feel.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true. That's very true, you know. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. The feeling remains, the energy remains, the energy resides. And another thing, when you were talking about that embrace, you reminded me, Connie, you had a similar embrace with Mary after
Yeah,
y'all were eye gazing. You remember when you were eye
yeah,
gazing?
yeah. That was also such a powerful moment there. Mhm.
That wasn't the
I
first time you've done that, was it?
think it was. Yeah, that was my
Okay,
very first time
okay,
meditating or doing that practice.
okay. Because it got very emotional, and I was there
Mhm.
to witness the emotions that you were both going through. And how would you say that that was different from the eye gazing that you had with Diana, in Colombia? Like, what was unique about both of those experiences?
Mhm. I think one of them, well, with Mary, I feel like there were a lot of other things I was worried about. Like, friend was over there needing some help. So I think, yeah, I was in there, but I didn't let myself fully go super deep in that
Mhm.
moment because I knew I still had to worry about this other person at the time. But I I feel like I saw everything and I saw, you know, the maybe the hurt and healing of this person just through their eyes. And it was so, so beautiful, but also slightly painful to experience because it was that empathy that I felt. Because I think when you look at each other's eyes, it becomes natural to sympathize, empathize, understand.
Mhm.
But it was different, I think, in the rainforest because there wasn't so much energy around. It was more secluded. So I think the rest of my brain wasn't distracted and I was just there. I was fully present, fully in the moment
Okay.
versus yeah, disclosure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a deep connection. You're right. And there is a deep reflection, when you
Mm-hmm.
with someone else. And they do say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, you know?
Yeah, portals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So being the eyes that are the windows to the soul, sometimes things well up that you can't control, you know? Like a release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty crazy. In class, we did that exercise with each other, but we were gazing only at the with the left eye, and I think
What's the
yeah,
significance of the left eye?
yeah. So you would lock your left eyes together,
Okay.
and then we did that for 10 minutes, I think, and it was just randomly paired throughout the class, and um, yeah, my partner started crying immediately when I saw her, and it was uncontrollable breathing, but eventually, you know, it calmed down and it became like this, yeah, I guess like calming down from an intense experience. But I wonder what it was, you know, why it happens, but I felt it.
Hmm.
Definitely felt the wave of emotions.
Hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
and Connie, why did you say the left eye? What about the left eye was so key?
Mm-hmm. I think that was just the practice that it was, but I was thinking, you know, your left side is your maternal side or your feminine side. So maybe there's some connection with, you know, your feminine side is perhaps more emotional.
Mm,
It's more compassionate
mm.
than your logical side.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that sometimes the wiring, they go to each other. Like the left goes to
Mm-hmm.
the right goes to the left, kind of like a hemisync. So if you think about it, it's almost like the left side puts you in your right mind, you know? The right brain, that's creative
Mm-hmm.
center, that sensual center, you know?
Right, right, because it's reflected, or your right controls your left, and the opposite too.
Wow.
Hmm.
This is fascinating. This is very interesting. And you were talking about earlier, during that moment that you shared with Mary, you still had to be conscious that you were taking care of someone. You're talking about Mustafa.
Yeah, yeah.
What was what were the words that you shared? Because I always wondered. I never knew what you spoke, but you must have spoke something over him because he recovered fairly quickly. When you were just there speaking over him and you were doing some. It looked like you were healing him. Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing or saying. I think Mary was there and helping too, but it was just intuitively, you know, this urge to nurture or help someone calm down, just say reassuring phrases, and but I felt like it was less about the words and just more about, you know, being there and like showing someone that they're not alone in this crazy mind state.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you remind me, Connie. One of my friends, they told me that there are times where just your presence can be medicine. You know, now,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can recall in your life, have there ever been times where someone did that for you? What you did for Mustafa? Like, has someone been there for you in that time for your mind? You know,
Where just their presence.
yeah, was medicine for you.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of times. I think yeah, it can happen every single day. I like just existing together with someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think personally for me, sometimes having to be conscious of what we're talking about and communicating and the exchange can be a little bit taxing on my energy, but that's just for me. Um, and just, you know, sitting next to someone, maybe touching them, you can feel their vibration and how it calms you down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, um, go if it was the gamma waves where you can just feel a person, you can feel their thoughts. It doesn't have to be something that's an action in the universe.
Could could you relate to what he was going through when you were speaking those words of affirmation and really just putting that loving intention, that loving energy in his space? Could you relate to his mind state?
Yeah, I think I definitely could because I've also been there before. Maybe not in the same space, but in those difficult spaces where I think just being seen or being heard or being acknowledged can alchemize the entire experience into a more positive thing. Because when you think you're going through something alone, it can be so much heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds like they say just because you carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can always use the help.
Yes, for sure. You know, and
Yeah.
people may never quite know what you're going through, you know, on the inside. So it's good that he had a friend like you to be by him, you know, in that time of need. Yeah.
Yeah. It, I feel like not that you should think about the the recipro the reciprocated nature of it, but you know, everything that I felt like I put out, it does come back, you know. Um, like when you show someone how much you care, they're also gonna, you know, care about you more.
Hmm.
And it's natural. Not that, yeah, you should do anything to get that, and it's not the case for everyone. Could return to you in some other way, but caring about another person, I feel like is caring about yourself because I'm practicing how to also speak to myself in a loving way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What has what has been the great change in the way that you speak to yourself today versus maybe, you know, back in 2017, perhaps?
Wow. Such a big
Hmm.
difference. I was such a negative, pessimistic person before,
Mm.
and all my thoughts were just like, it's not good enough. I can't do this. And even when I feel like I got to, you know, got a goal, it's still just like, oh, that's not good enough. You need a better goal. or something like that. But what it really came down to was just, you know, having that self-compassion and self-love. And it's still something that I'm really working on because I feel like, you know, progress doesn't always go, it's not always linear. Sometimes it
Right.
goes back. It's something that I have to keep working on every single day.
Mm.
And I still catch myself having so many negative thoughts. But now it's like I've learned ways to counter that.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something as simple as just saying like, oh, I, I am good at this, even if I believe that I'm not, I think has been really helping me change my
Yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
When you say that you had that pessimism, you know, that was so overpowering at that time, at that point in your life, did that
Mm-hmm.
ever come from a feeling of perfectionism or needing to be perfect or the concept of like where your self-worth was in life?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. And a lot of it comes from I think our parents and our teachers. And I realized there was this thing that my sister told me in therapy, from her therapy was that, you know, those voices in your head aren't your own voices, but those are the voices of, you know, your parents or teachers or whoever in your life saying those mean things to you. And that just separated it from myself. And I realized I can change this. These aren't mine. This isn't me.
Wow.
And it felt really good to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you were able to reclaim and reframe, you know?
Hmm. I love your words. You just sum it up in these like short two phrases and it's just packed full of
I'm just,
text.
I'm just reflecting. It's like I can only give what I get, you know? I'm giving it back. Yeah. And like you said, it's reciprocal. You know? It's the energy like flow. You already know, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cycles,
Yeah.
cycles through.
So
Mhm.
that's cool, Connie. You were able to see that, like you said, it wasn't a line, but it was more of a circle. It's like we're always coming back, you know?
Yeah, and maybe it's not even a circle. It's just there. It just exists. Yeah, I don't know what shape. Maybe like a trapezoid or something. But,
I like to think of it sometimes as a spiral, you know? Like
mm-hmm. I
if
like
you
that.
can think some, you can feel like you're spiraling, but you could be spiraling upward, you know? You don't have
Mm-hmm.
spiraling downward. You know, it doesn't have to be a downward spiral. It could feel like actually things are going somewhere, but I don't quite know where it's going, but I know it's going somewhere, you know, and I'm just trusting that wherever it's
Mm-hmm.
going is wherever it's growing, you know? Yeah. And
Yeah,
allowing
yeah.
yourself to be wherever it's flowing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spirals. I like that
Wow.
shape. Mhm.
Thank you for just, you know, making the time to talk about your experience, you know, your inner world, the things that go on, the challenges that you've overcome, the adversities that you've triumphed, and just allowing somebody else to know that they're not alone. You know, someone said this is so relatable. I think it was Sunray.
Wow.
Really, yeah, they said, you know, it's very relatable. People have been showing love and they've just been enjoying your story. And, you know, just you pouring out on here. Like, have you done a lot of lives like this?
This is my very first time doing it
Wow.
alive. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. I was like, this is kind of nerve-wracking, but you know, I trust it. I trust it.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel like you operate like that now? Because it takes a lot of trust to just pick up and go to some place like Colombia, or get on a, a ride around the whole festival and like do the things that you've done. It feels like it does take a certain amount of trust.
Hmm. I don't even think about that. It's just usually I'm just so curious that I'm just gonna go wherever, and then later sometimes it's like, oh no. But I think most of the times really happy that I did it. It's a trust in I guess that if it's a learning experience that it's possible to overcome
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I agree, and one of the things that has allowed me to feel that way has been meditation. I find
Mm-hmm.
it interesting when you said when you went to Colombia and you had those meditation sessions every day. You said you were like three of them every day
Yeah. For an hour, I think.
for an
Yeah.
hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How did that how did that give you a feeling? Like what did that give you that you didn't have before, that added meditation?
Mm-hmm. Before, that just wasn't something I would prioritize. I think having someone to do it with you helps me prioritize and navigate you know, how to go about these practices, and, and yeah, just putting three hours of time is a lot in my opinion, in my schedule, but putting it into yourself and those around you, having the time and space for that was so nice. Like
Hmm.
realizing, I guess I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Have
Mm-hmm.
you practiced since you came back to Cali?
Here and there, but
Hmm.
it's not as consistent. Yeah, you make time for the things you care about, and I think right now I'm focused on other things. But it's good that it's something I know can be in practice.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, I'd love
Mm-hmm.
to ask
It's
you.
possible.
I'd love to ask you as well, before we go, when it comes to your flow, when it comes to Kahni being the con artist, with your creations, how has meditation and these other forms of vibration like given you more for your creative process?
Mm-hmm. It definitely expands what I think is possible, and exploring, exploring your consciousness, exploring these different layers of yourself gives whatever you're creating more depth to. Because I think whatever art you make, whether it's music, dancing, painting, acting, whatever it is, yeah, it's a reflection of your inner self. Especially when it's something that you can flow with, and um, it's like freestyle. It's not something that you're choreographing. It becomes really revealing of your character and your personality and whatever is inside of your body, side of your spirit. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. For
Yes.
these insights. We need this today. We need this. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Thank you. This was fun. Yeah. It's been a great conversation. It's so nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, and I trust this won't be the last time. Even though this is the first time. So, yeah, I can't wait to see where you go from here, and just best of love in all that you do.
I love that. Where are you right now?
At the moment, I'm in a little state called Texas. Yeah.
Oh, you're in
Hmm.
Texas. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So not that far away. I come to this neck of the woods every now and then to visit folks and, just continue. But we've been bouncing around. I might be back in Cali sometime. You never
Okay.
know. You know,
Okay. Let me know.
we'll
Mm-hmm.
connect. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Hope it's treating you well out there.
much love. Much love. It definitely
Yeah.
is. And for anyone, who happens to be watching you for the first time and they were very inspired by your words, very empowered, very enthused and enlightened by the things that you've gone through in your own, your experience. What would be one last thing that you would have for somebody who, is going through something in their life? They don't know how to make it out, and they don't really have that support system around them to lean on. What would you advise them?
Mm. It really is different for every single person, but what worked for me was, turning within, and that's where I found the resources to help myself. That's how I realized what I needed. Because sometimes I think when I'm looking out for the support or that, it's not the support that I need necessarily. But also, if it is something external, don't be afraid to just ask for it. That's something I'm also working on, is just letting people help you when you need it. And it's so simple, but sometimes it's like ego, or you don't want to waste someone's time. But people want to help you if they offer it sometimes, most of the time. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask, you will receive. Ask and you shall
Mm-hmm.
receive. So when you didn't see the resources on the outside, you became resourceful on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like these summations. So, yeah. I'm like talking in circles over and I'm like, what am I trying to say? I'm like grasping all these thoughts. I'm like, thank you. You just packaged it up.
We wrapping it up.
Yeah.
This is all love. No, I appreciate you because you're authentic. You know, Authenticity has no copy. That's original is always worth more than a copy. So thank you so much for just being yourself and giving these thoughtful responses. I know that other people, if I was touched, then I know this touched somebody else in here. So
Oh,
blessings.
blessings.
Yeah.
So much love. Thank you for this.
All right.
Yeah. hmm
Kahni, take care.
Okay, wrapping it up.
Hey, again. We'll see you. Bye bye.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
Bye.